Hello all, welcome to Ambari Cloud YouTube channel, part of Ambari Cloud LLM class. Today I will be presenting chart models. Chart models are specialized by AI system designed to handle conversational inputs in a structured format. That is a keyword here, structured format. Right? So it allows us to build an engaged model, right? Let's say when you want to build a customer support bots or virtual assistants, research assistants in context-aware dialogue system, right? So, basically you are sending a system message along with your human message, and it returns the AI message in a structural format. So, again, still uses the large language model under the hood. The interface that is a bit different rather than you send a text and returning in a text output, but even though if you put a text, but it is converted into human message format or a system message format based on what you are sending, and then returns into the AI. So it's basically allows us to do, when you do build a streamlined grid applications, so the chart models helps. Okay. So as I said here, the messages are as input. The message is a list of system messages and human messages, and then returns to the AI message. We will dive into more on those. And also look at the messages video I already posted. Okay. So as usual, you're going to get the API key. And then you're gonna instantiate chart OpenAI, whatever the model you are looking for here. Instead of simple OpenAI or LLM chain, here we're going to use a chart OpenAI. Okay. And then you're going to invoke the message, right? Messages, right? It's a list. And then after that, then it returns to the AI message. Then when it returns, the result has a content and then of course response metadata, right? So that's how we will look at the example. So coming back again, so you're going to send a human message along with a system message. Basically, a system message also have a content context, and then, you tell what you want and how you want to, your LLM should look for what, like the system message can also be derived from your the vector store, or it can be CAG. You can store in the memory and then send it to that. Okay. So each message type represents a role or purpose of the conversation, right? Each message, role or purpose of the conversation, role or human message or role system message, and then returns the AI message. Okay. So here, messages is a list. Then you can say human message, what you are sending. And then, you can also send the name of the person so he remembers then during the conversation. Then also you can send a system message basically telling to the LLM your guidance, saying that, okay, do this, don't do that, and then look for this. And then if you don't know, then don't answer it. Don't do hallucination, all those things. Okay. So that's how you build your models. And so you can, then once you're going to get a AI response in a content and also metadata. So where do you build? As I said, then context awareness, then represent the context awareness, enabling seamless multi-turn dialogue. So chatbots are kind of a dialogue, right? Then, you can support rich metadata when you're sending to model, and then, then you can give a lot of advices to the model, right? Okay. So let's get into some quick example. Okay. I'm going to get my key from my environment variables, where I put my key in, my bash file, or, you can export it or you can call from some configuration file. Then I'm going to use my LLM, GPT-4.0 or GPT-4. Then I'm going to instantiate chart OpenAI. Then let's run it. Then if you see here, LLM, right? Chart completion. Basically, we are using the chart OpenAI, then model, and so then of course my secret key. Now I'm going to create a message saying that, message, hey, what is the best place to use, and then I give them my name. Now, if you look at messages, basically it's a message format here, right? And it's also list. Then I'm going to send the list to my LLM, which is my chart OpenAI. Then do the results, then it return the AI message, and then it has a content, right? And then also has, output tokens, how many tokens it use and all the stuff. Then, you can see the response metadata, right? And then the response metadata has all the information, how much it's costing you, basically in terms of tokens. Okay. Now let's run the content. Okay. So basically this is response from the LLM, which is a message content. Then look at the metadata response, right? And then, you can see how much it costs and what model it is using, then how many tokens and all that stuff. When you use LLM model, chat OpenAI model, yeah, you can also send the messages like that, right? It returns the answer, right? But still same format, because it is even yes, you're giving, but underneath it converts into human message or a system human message. And now if you look at the same thing, okay, role is user, content is hello, same thing. But here it automatically role is user, right? And you can do that. So same thing, okay, here it is same thing coming out, or you can instance it a human message. When you do this thing, right, particularly when you are sending a human message and system message together, as we are progressing, we will see those examples, particularly when you are instantiating a chart model, saying that, okay, I have a human message, I have a system message. Okay, just give you very quick, I'm going to show that. For example, here in my Snowflake migration model, let me show here, right? The chart OpenAI model, then I have a human message. This is my question. Okay, show me my iceberg table, or show me iceberg table data model, show me iceberg. If you go all the way down here, right, show top all rows of Snowflake tables, sales customer, top 10 rows, and then, do all this stuff. So this is my question, which is a human message, right? And then, so I'm going to build a message object, and then human message. And then, I'm going to define a system message saying that, hey, you are an expert of SQL, but you don't know anything about the MySQL in sense, my data model in my Snowflake database. And then, then I have a tables, and then, then when you use iceberg, yeah, iceberg, but you don't know much about iceberg. Then, when you do iceberg, don't you in Snowflake, iceberg in open source, but you don't know anything about iceberg in Snowflake. Then when you do that, Snowflake don't use using iceberg in the Snowflake syntax, right? Then Snowflake also don't use table properties, those things, right? These are specific to Snowflake dialect, right? So I'm asking the LLM, create an iceberg table, but which I want it for Snowflake, right? So that's why I'm advising to this advising to LLM, right? So here I'm asking question, okay, show me the top 10 rows, but it's an iceberg table, right? Or I want to create an iceberg rest table to connect to Polaris. But then I need to tell to LLM, because LLM may not have all the Snowflake information with related to iceberg. So here I'm giving the advice, system message. So coming back here, right? So, here I'm just sending a simple human message, but also I can say, hey, I'm asking you hello, but I want to return the information back in Telugu or some other language, or I can say, yeah, we can give, or I can give, let's say one of the example I was doing is, doctor-patient relation, right? Then we want to the ranking of the doctors. But how LLM decides the ranking, we have to provide some information. So we're going to send it to a system message saying that you are expert knowing how to summarize the documents, but you don't know anything about my hospital ranking system. Here you go. This is the document I'm giving you, my ranking system. So that's where we're going to send it to a system message. So when you do that kind of things, use the chart model, then chart model expects a message in human message and system message, and returns in a AI message. And chart models are more conversational, particularly when you use for chat boards, or when you decided to develop a Streamlight application or video application, the front-end application, then when you want to interaction. And then and you want to do a structured input, then use a chat OpenAI. Okay. Then let me show one more example here. Okay. Again, same thing, human message, right? And then I'm here, and I want to show in the messages, right? Then, here, when you use chart, you can build a template, right? Chart template. And then once we dive into the templates and the prompts and prompt templates, right? Here, instead of a simple basic prompt template, we're going to use a chart prompt template saying that, okay, I can have a system and then user. So system will basically system message. User can be used human message, right? So let's do a template. This way you can build the templates. The reason is it's easy to dive your code, right? And then you can, so here, okay, so then you can create a template. Then how are you going to invoke the templates? Okay, saying that translate the following English into language. Okay, so language is Telugu, right? Then we want to send the text, right? So look at the template here, right? In the system template, then right? For example, you can hard code it and send it, but I want dynamic, right? So the templates, when you want to do a dynamic way, so here system message is dynamic. Your user text is, your question is also dynamic. So in that case, then you start using the templates. But if it is a, the fully hard-coded system message, for example, here, everything is hard-coded system message, the whole thing, then, you don't need a template. But if you want a dynamic, then, I would suggest to use the template. So there's a prompt template, there's a chart prompt template. The chart prompt template is basically when saying that I have a system, I have a user. User is basically your human, system is system message. Then in the system message, right? And then, you're dynamically sending language, what Telugu or what English, whichever, sorry, Hindi. Then, so if you define templates, right? And when you are using a chart OpenAI, use the templates if you want to do a dynamic way of communicating system messages. Then if you look at here, right, system message still automatically converted into with Telugu, right? And or if you don't want a template, you can dynamically construct your human message and system messages, right? And yeah, then if you look at this is a prompt, then prompt messages, just one more time. Okay. If you look at here, then what are the message, system message and prompt message? And then of course we're going to instant execute it. At the end, invoking is still prompt, even though I'm calling it prompt, but it's nothing but a messages, right? Messages, what eventually you're sending. So chart templates for when you use a chart OpenAI, and chart templates, we want to send values dynamically, right? Now, both in the system and also your user. Of course, more often, definitely we will send it to user as your context, your question. But if you want to add additional context to your system message, then use a chart template. So let's go back to our document here. Then contextual awareness, then conversation in the chatbot, and then those things when you are developing, you're going to use the chart models. Any questions, reach out to me, skondapalli@ambaricloud.com. Thank you. Bye now.